Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at more relationship stories. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. My husband wants to open up our marriage or separate. My husband and I have been together for 9 years and married for 6. We have 2 sons, 4 and 3. A little bit about our marriage. I stopped working when I became pregnant with our first son and never went back to work because we haven't needed it. My husband makes $400k working from home with a very flexible schedule. I tend to do more of the childcare since I don't work, but honestly not that much more. He loves spending time with our children, has a rather intense personality when it comes to organization, so he's very pro-cleaning. And one of his greatest passions, along with sex, is cooking. So he plans and cooks more than half of our meals. We still have our ups and downs, of course, but overall we're both very patient and caring people. Up to this point, a very patient and caring relationship. Our views on child rearing align more or less entirely, and my entire family absolutely love him. His family is not in the picture. He grew up extremely poor in an unstable household. Before I got pregnant, we had sex 10 times a week as a baseline. Damn! Of course, sometimes one of us was too busy or stressed or physically unwell, and that was never a problem. All things usual though, we had sex more than once a day for years. Damn, these guys are like fit. Hey. They don't get tired. Then we decided to have children. We both love children and knew that this would change almost every element of our lives and marriage. In conversations around this, we did discuss the likelihood of sex being less frequent for a while, and it didn't seem like a big deal. During the pregnancy, we continued to have pretty regular sex. That changed drastically once my son was born. I felt like I had zero libido, but my husband was extremely understanding at the time. He said that I just grew a human, so it makes sense for my body to be prioritizing different things. He was more or less happy with more sporadic sex for the next 2 years, and I thought everything was fine. Once our youngest was around 18 months, he started to instigate more mornings and nights again. I turned him down a decent amount because I just wasn't feeling any desire for sex. After a couple months of this, he asked me what he could do to help me get my drive back to what it used to be. He asked this gently, and I didn't respond as well as I could have. It was upsetting in the moment, and we ended up having really the big first fight of our marriage over it. We both ended up apologizing, but it was only a couple weeks later that he instigated another talk about it. Mind you, it's not like we never have sex. We're probably having sex 2 to 3 times a week. That's more than like a lot of couples, that's for sure. He suggested that we could get couples therapy. I responded better this time and agreed. Hormone panels came back regular, so we tried a couple different therapists for a few sessions each. Both basically said his expectations were unrealistic, and partnerships are about compromise. In those sessions, my husband's response was that he isn't ready to compromise on something that's so important to him. He was asked if it's more important to him than having a healthy marriage, and while he said no, in hindsight there was some definite hesitancy. So things continue like this for the rest of the year, and to be honest, I kind of thought this was it. Then comes last night. He walked into our room after putting the kids down. We take turns reading them books before bedtime, and said he needed to have a serious discussion. I immediately knew it was going to be about sex, because the only times in the 9 years I've known him that he says we need to talk with such somber dread, it's about our sex life. I was not at all prepared for what he said though. Through tears, this is the first time I've ever seen him cry from sadness. He said that he wasn't built to be in a relationship that didn't regularly express love through sex. He said that he would always love me and that I'd always be the mother of his children, but he can't and won't go on like this. He told me that he believes there are only 2 options. Either we divorce and continue to co-parent, or we open up the marriage and he finds someone else to have sex with multiple times a week. Transparently, the first half of the ensuing conversation is a bit of blur because of how emotional it was. I went from being devastated, bordering pathetic, to furious with more rage than I've ever felt in my life. I said some things I regret and didn't mean. He stayed relatively calm throughout it, but he did say that he wouldn't have a conversation with me if I kept yelling. Eventually, I calmed down and begged him to try and rekindle a sex life. I even tried to initiate right there, which is incredibly embarrassing now, which he rejected. He said he was open to working on getting our sex life back to a place that was happy for both of us, but that can't mean me having sex when I don't really want to, and that he has needs he has to go get elsewhere for now. I told him I didn't want to open up our marriage and begged him more to work it out. He said he needed some space and he was going to stay with a friend of his for the night. I texted him early that morning to let him know not to come, and that I was going to take the kids to visit my parents for a couple days. He was hesitant but agreed to let me take them for a while I processed. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose this marriage, but the thought of him sleeping with other people hurts so much. I don't know what I'm looking for or if there's any advice to be had. I feel like my world is collapsing and it's my fault. My parents know something is wrong because of how distressed I am. And even worse, both of our sons can tell. I've tried to hide it, but I'm a mess. My husband says if we stay together and he felt rejected regularly, he'll end up resenting me and that it's better for our children to have separate parents than resentful ones. Should I open up the marriage or move forward with divorce? What the hell did I just read? Her husband's like a sex addict or something. What the heck? That's crazy. He's like 40, right? And even at that age, he needs to have sex twice a day. Dude, he never gets tired? That's freaking crazy. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for him because he's just talking about his needs, right? He's not even talking about her needs at all. It's just him. Like even all the therapists were like, dude, that's unrealistic. You do know that when someone is tired, they need to rest, right? Plus, you guys have kids to look after. I do feel like if she opens the marriage though, it's not going to go back to how it's going to be, right? It can't. You can't ever go back. And if he's having sex twice a day with someone, he's probably going to stay over there too. So like, who's going to look after the kids? Her, by herself. So yeah, I guess having an open marriage and divorce aren't that different. So like, that's kind of just the same thing, honestly. Open marriage, you lose your partner. Divorce, you lose your partner. At least he was nice about everything. And he talked to her about it. He talked about his needs and everything. So everything was very calm. Because before all this, he just seems like a very nice guy, like a good husband, a good dad, and just overall a good person, right? But it's just that his needs are just very unrealistic. That's all. Like, he seems like a great person. But one thing that I'm confused with is that he says he expresses his love through sex. Did he mean he needs to have sex to feel love? Okay, I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? I don't know, man. I don't even know. 10 plus times a week. Yo. That's crazy. I mean, low-key impressive back then that they could do that. But damn, obviously it's not going to stay the same after you guys have kids, right? And after you guys like aging. It's not going to stay the same forever. I guess he just can't compromise, that's why. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!